changed our meeting time to the first Wednesday of each month, so that for those that put us on their agenda to watch at home, you'll know that we're gonna be on the first Wednesday of every month. I'm gonna do a roll call. I'll start with Steve Dutton,
Hi, Steve Dutton.
Hi, Derek Horn.
Marie Boyle.
Al DeRusso.
Brian Hanson.
Charlie Tentis.
Okay, that is our quorum so far for tonight. Let's see. May 24th minutes.
The minutes were submitted late yesterday afternoon, so we
Yeah.
might want to wait till next
I
month.
was just gonna suggest that we wait till next time
Yeah.
on them, so we'll wait on those. Okay, under the old business, we get the RSA 79E, the application process. Derek, do you wanna go over this?
Yes, again, this has been before the Board of Selectmen and was approved at their May 23rd meeting. And it is, as the EDC had recommended, to
Great.
go through, submit the application process and be reviewed primarily by staff, with a recommendation coming from a staff team made up of building, planning, zoning, the assessor and myself, as well as administration, and to go before the Board of Selectmen, and then it would be the applicant's option if they wanted to bring it before the Economic Development Council. And,
Great.
And there's also, we've developed the applications for that, so we'll be posting those on the website and
That's
start
good.
making it available.
Excellent. Just so of a record, Steve Langley just showed up. Got it?
Hi there.
Okay, and then with that, we have the letter. This is the final draft, I assume?
Yeah, this is the final draft that
Okay.
you and Brian kind of hammered out, so we can start sending this out this
The
week.
only question I have is, rather than come from me, should it come from you?
I think it'd be appropriate, they're gonna be contacting me, but you are the chair.
Yeah, I would prefer that it come from you.
Okay.
So if you can change
Yep.
the
That's a simple change.
end at the bottom, that would be great.
Yep, and then we'll send those out.
People start calling me, and it could be a longer process. Okay, great. All right, so, and we're going to, when we talked about this 2 meetings ago, we were talking about who we send them to. And did we decide we were going to just send it to every business located in those zones? Is that how we're gonna do it?
I thought the consensus was to send it to the property owners.
Right,
Because
in
they're the
those
ones that
zones.
receive the tax bills.
Okay.
To send it to all of those.
To everybody, right.
Yeah, to
right.
everyone. No.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, you'll be able to come up with a list to do that with?
Yeah, we've already have a list that the assessor's prepared, and we'll just do a mail merge to send those out.
Excellent. Okay. Any questions on that from anyone? Okay, excellent. So we'll get that out. There is as I mentioned before, there's an all boards meeting on 6/13, I guess I'm supposed to be attending that, so I will make the meeting. And some of the things, obviously, they wanna do is they wanna get an idea of what our goals are. What I'll do is I'm gonna write something up as to what we did last year, how we progressed through the year, what we put forward, what came up, and how we dealt with things, and then where we wanna go this year, and some of the ideas of utilizing more media, the constant contact, that type of stuff, so that we can be in touch with people, and try to reach out more to businesses. I have an idea that I'm gonna show you in a few minutes. Actually, I can bring it up now. All of these are the businesses that are listed in our directory. What I'm concerned about, at least at this point, is that I don't want the information to be stale in our directory, because that doesn't help us any. What I wanna do is I wanna pass out, I went through, there were 384
384 unique businesses.
unique businesses in town. So what I did is I broke them up based upon numbers, not necessarily, I kinda combined it was done by A, B, C, D, but, I kinda combined them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to hand out, I think one of them, the highest one is 50, most of them are in the, low 40s, mid 40s. What I'd like to do is I'd like the members to take ownership of that grouping. And one of the things that Derek has is, this is the information, I guess, that they fill out when they want to be on the website for their business. One of the things that I'd like to do is wherever we don't have information, try to see if we can gather that information from them. All right, and when you're finished, as you're finished with them, like, you don't have to turn in the whole thing, as you start finishing these, you can hand them over to Derek, and Derek can start getting it updated in the system. Would that be all right?
Yes, and what I plan to do to follow up with the paper copy is to email everybody the Excel spreadsheet as it's current now, so people can, mark it in on their computers, and I'll have each separate one designated out for how
Right.
they get assigned.
Now, one of the things that we talked about was logos, which is not an issue, we can do that. So if any of these people have a logo that they want to do. There's also one other section that we can do a little bit more.
We can do an image as well. So if businesses want to put their storefront, they have a unique storefront on the main street that they want to, everybody be able to recognize, or if they manufacture or distribute a unique product, we could put that on as well.
And what we want to be careful for is, we don't want to get into items on sale this month, because now we end up by next month, having to go in, take things out. I don't want it to become cumbersome, but I want it to become informational for people, so that they know. And one of the big pushes that I'm going to bring forward at the 6/13 meeting is, buy local, support your local businesses, because I think that's a good way of helping the economy for our local businesses, and then trying to point how we're getting people to come and look at what businesses we have. Someone's looking for an electrician, you can go to E, you can pick up, under E, you can pick up all different types of businesses with E. If you want something specific, you want the name of a business, it reverts back to the name. So it works pretty good. It's not a, we can get in, there can be more details to it, but I think if people, once they know what they're looking for, they go to these places, and if it helps their business, if it picks up customers, I think that's great. And opens up opportunities for businesses in town. And it also gives us an opportunity to talk to people about their business. Sometimes we look at some of these and we say, okay, I see the word farms over here, what's that telling me? There's a lot of farms in Goffstown, but what falls in that category and that type of thing. So, what I want to do is I'll pass these out, I'll give one to everyone. Somebody may have a few more than another. Whole idea is not to get it done in a month, but to work at it. And it also gives us the opportunity to reach out to the community, and we'll get some feedback. We'll get feedback on what we're doing is either good or bad. We'll get feedback as to what they'd like to see, some suggestions and that type of stuff. And it will probably help us to develop a better rapport with businesses, and to move us forward and get some of these places filled in and built in some cases in town. So I'll pass out. I know I had the number that I gave to you, Derek, and stuff. How do you want to track who has what?
If everyone could just let me know, if you pass it out, the first page.
Yep.
The first business on it.
That's all they need?
That's all I need, and I'll know
Okay.
who's got what.
All right. So, we
We
got
need the first and the last.
one,
I just need the first.
yeah, we got one,
There you go.
two,
Derek, I got vacuum systems,
Okay.
starts at vacuum systems and ends, like that's the business category. Did you say business category or business name? You wanted?
Business name, please.
All right, business name is vacuum systems,
Okay.
and the last one
I'll
I
take
got.
this one.
is-
I don't even need the last one.
Rock
though.
on, cool.
So, Charlie?
SM Hall Carpentry,
All right.
modeling.
Kathy Young, therapeutic massage and hypnosis.
That's with a C, correct?
It's with a K.
With a K, okay.
Kathy with a K.
Glad I asked.
I have Halls, Radio and TV.
Okay,
Is that the guy across from Sully's?
yes.
With
Yeah.
with all those jukeboxes in there?
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
He's an
I've been
old-
living here 10 years, I've never seen a light on there or anything.
No,
Been here
he's
25,
had
I
a
agree.
stroke.
Really?
And
Yeah,
he's
he's got
He has the
weird stuff in
mannequins
there.
in there, and
Yeah.
it's cool.
It's like the cover of
looks like-
Sergeant
he's got
Pepper's Lonely Hearts
fabulous
Club
stuff
Band.
in there.
Looks
Yeah,
like
I
a
know.
museum.
Like
He
Wurlitzer.
He had a stroke.
Oh,
Trying to think of who else. Now, I got Dick Bruno, I got a selectman rep,
Sorry.
and I have one more, there's one more person. Oh,
Brian Fournier.
Brian.
Yep.
That's right. So, okay, so Brian's gonna have antiques.
Okay, or wait, what's the name, I'm sorry?
Oh, I'm sorry, the name, it's 1810 Antiques.
Okay,
So that'll be for Brian.
so the objective is to get this filled out as well as possible and ask them if they want their logo on the website?
Yeah, if they
Conversation
have-
starter.
Yep, ask if they're interested in and what do we need to give, if they wanna put their logo on, what do we need from
they
them?
they need to email me, and that's on this memo that was sitting in front of you, in a JPEG, format or PDF or, whatever form they have, and we can convert it to the necessary form.
Okay. And the target destination, like the URL they want it to go to, and you'll be able to run with it from that?
Yeah, exactly, yeah, and we'll resize it appropriately so it works on the website, and then if they had an image they wanted, whether it's their storefront or something like that.
When you say image, you mean a photo?
A photo, yep,
One?
just one.
Yeah, I think,
Right now, the module only is set up for one image. In the future, depending on how it goes, we might be able to adjust that.
for instance, you may have something at, was it Sully's, are they the ones that still have the best meats in town?
Yep.
type of
Yes.
thing?
Yep.
So you may take something like that and stick it into that spot, so they get the logo and it says best meats in town type of thing. Oh, you went over,
I drew one.
all right, good. So anyway, I think this will be a good thing for us, and if people don't have an email address, and at the same time, let them know about the website. They can go to the website, they can see the business listings, to keep an eye on what we're doing with economic development, because there's gonna be more coming in that area. And that's a good form for us to communicate. And when we start doing, we talk about the constant contact, we can probably start letting them know about that as well, and then move ourselves forward that way. Yes?
I would say the two biggest pieces of information that we did not have in the old database when we switched over was a contact person. And also, because that was done 15 years ago, was email. I think those would be the two really important items to get, is to get a contact person, whether it's a business owner or the manager, and a email address.
I have Windows, BJ Johnson,
Okay.
kind of appropriate, I gotta call him anyway.
Hey Derek, quick question. First paragraph on your memo here.
Yep.
Purpose of the memorandum, needs confirmation for the business directory on www.goffstown.com. If one of these guys asks me exactly where this information is gonna go, do I say to him, go to goffstown.com and there's a business directory on that page? Is that what I say to him?
Yes, when you, and I can send detailed instructions, but across the top banner, it says, I believe the first one left says home, and then it says economic development.
Right.
And when you scroll over that, a drop-down comes down and saes business directory.
Got it.
And
Yeah,
it
cool.
takes you right there.
Those are the other two.
Great.
All right. Great, so we've got our things to do for.
Quick
our-
question?
Yes,
So
go
on
ahead.
these forms right now, as I look at it.
Yep.
There is no real spot where a key contact is listed.
I can add that in before I email it out. There,
If we use this now, I mean, obviously you got a lot of space for the website. I mean, we can almost create another column right here and just write it in.
yeah, if you want to write it in, or like I said, I'll email it out. The actual database that we have has many more columns that I've eliminated just so it would print out on one page.
Should put in notes too,
There
the
too.
notes
Yep.
section, you can
I
put in
wrote it
there.
down just so you don't forget to ask.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, great. Anything else on this? Any suggestions on what else we should do with this at this point, or are we're good? Okay,
And just, I'm working with IT to get a form on the website, so new businesses can go in and request to be added without having to send an email or whatever, so they'll be able to fill in all this information, and as well as update existing information. And if that becomes available during this process, I'll let you know.
Is there a way for us to know, like, for instance, that Steve's got a certain group? You know what I'm saying, is that everybody has which group they have?
Yeah, when I email out the spreadsheet, I'll add a column of who's assigned to which one.
All right,
And
so
just
when
put
you see the different groupings?
Yep.
You'll be able to see who has them.
Yes.
So let's say, for instance, as an example, I happen to go to, Barbara's Beauty Salons, Beth Gage, for instance, and I happen to be one of her customers, and I happen to be there, and I ask for this, I can talk to her about this information, then I can email the person that has that and say, here's the information that I picked up from, sometimes we can help each other out. It doesn't mean, I walk into the hardware store and say, well, I can't ask him anything because that's somebody else's job to, we can kind of work together. So this will be a work in progress for us, and I think it'll be good, and we'll take a look. Each month, we'll go over and see, how many we've gotten to, and talk about feedback from people as to what we're getting. Let's see. The other thing is that I'm not sure, how many of you, is this the right one, 2006 master plan?
That's actually the appendix.
That's the appendix.
That's all that's not the actual executive summary, but that has the
Has the information.
economic development portion in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that does not have this?
I don't have that.
1, 2, 3,
Okay.
okay. So if you could get that
Yep.
to them, so they could take a look at it. I'm more concerned, obviously, with the economic development aspect and stuff in there. And if you have any suggestions as to what we can do to work with this, then, bring them forward. And I think I happened to pull this out tonight, necessarily. I'm trying to prepare for the 13th. So that would be good to have. Okay, so, let's talk, Brian, business promotions. Last time you were away, do you wanna update us as to where we're at with things?
Well, with Constant Contact, nothing's changed since last time. I'm not really sure if you guys want me to move forward with it. If so, how exactly would that work?
I looked
said no
at it,
problem.
I thought it was fine. Anybody else have a chance to look at it and see?
I received the Manchester Chamber of Commerce through Constant Contact, so I'm pretty familiar with.
Okay, so see there, it's being used by the chambers, so.
Right.
Okay, so then, I guess the discussion should be then, if we're going to do it, then how are we gonna use it?
Well, yeah, let's discuss it, definitely.
Yeah, I think we should, let's have that discussion now, talk about how we wanna use it. And, we had talked about, earlier about some sort of newsletter, thing. And I'm wondering if that's something we could do maybe on a quarterly basis. I don't wanna do it every month, but do it on a quarterly basis and say, have one ready, for, well, July would start a quarter, right? July, August, September.
Yep.
So if we can get something ready for the July meeting, now July, look at the calendar here. Could pose a small problem with,
Is that the,
It's gonna be the sixth
It's
or
a
something,
six,
right?
yeah.
yeah,
I'm away on vacation.
okay. So July 6th would be our first meeting. I will not be here.
I'm not sure if I
You're
will
not sure either.
I'm probably not gonna
Today.
be around either, I'll
You
be
won't be
honest with
around.
you, probably not,
July's a bad month.
probably not.
Yep. So, I don't wanna cancel meetings ahead of time, but considering the situation, it's probably best that we not meet, July. I mean, it's just a slow month on things, but it doesn't mean that we can't, move things along in terms of trying to get this together, by sending any information to Derek and talking to Derek. And then we can turn around and say, okay, this is what we've got, take a look at it and see if we can move it and move it forward at that point. So if we're going to do anything in a newsletter, suggestions?
What did we talk about previously in doing that?
Previously, it was just an article, whether it be
Yeah,
an existing business or, you know, I think it was more focused on existing businesses or.
well, one of the things we could do is this. We could talk about the fact that we are reaching out to enhance our business directory. And what the intent is behind it, and how we wanna try to drive business, into Goffstown, you know, buy local type of thing. And just write, even if it's not a big article, but even if it's something that's, you know, 100 words or 150 words or something like that, that it would be enough to say, this is how we're moving forward. And that if you have a business in town, and probably talk about the website, that you can get to the website, under economic development, look into the business directory, locate your business. If your business is not there, let us know, you know. If there's an error in what we have, let us know. And at least that may be a helpful thing to get started with. And then from that, when we meet in August, we can start talking about, okay, what projects do we have any other projects that we're working on? Do we have any businesses that are coming in? Maybe we can do welcome to Goffstown, new businesses this month, or something like that. If we happen to know what they are as they move in. And a lot of times, you must get that information.
Yeah, we do have that information.
So we just say, you know, just a push to say new business this month, and, you know, please support your local business. Maybe we should come up with a little mantra that says, you know, economic development, support your local merchant, or something like that. Come up with something. Just something catchy that puts us there, with
With
people.
that constant contact, and Brian, you know, would you be able to attach like that new form? Or would you put websites, your email address, and perhaps areas where they could go? Gee, I have a new business, or I have a business, I didn't know about this business directory. In that constant, I can click here, and it's gonna take me to that new form, that I can immediately fill it out and then send it back to you.
Definitely,
Is that
Charlie.
Yeah.
possible?
It would just be a link to the actual place where you
We
manifest.
make it
each of
one-stop
these.
shopping for
Yep.
these folks. 'cause
No,
then
I
they're
think
gonna
it's
do it.
great, good idea.
And send it like every month, pretty much send it every month. You can change the picture or something like that, but send this every month.
Yeah, maybe even if we could use an example in that first article, is maybe take a snapshot of it, of their square, i.e. Sully's, and mock one up and say, you know, if you're listed in the directory, would you like your listing to look like this?
Yep.
Send us this, and this, and we can do it for you.
Sure.
Something like that, where, you know, we may get some guys that are gonna right away say, email, and it's done. Versus having to chase people, or, I think the last thing we wanna be doing is going out and taking photographs of busises one
Right.
at a time.
No, that's not something that
That's
we
not
need to
something
get,
we
I
need
think
to
that's
do.
something the business really wants to promote themselves,
Yeah.
let them do their thing.
Right.
But I think if that could be one-stop shopping in that, so-called article about business directory and what we're trying to accomplish, and all they have to do is click it on a link.
Yeah.
I think we'll get some good feedback from folks that are gonna say, let's do it right now. and they'll send it right off to you.
Now, on the constant contact, or when we put that up, it's gonna go to everyone that has these, emails, is that how that?
Yeah, I mean, in broad strokes, yeah, well, once we manifest all these email addresses, I'll just basically get it from Derek, and I'll put it into my CRM, or a spreadsheet or whatever, and we'll just, they have a customer relations management software on the website.
Yep.
That you can just sort of send them your email addresses, and everybody will get an email saying, hey, Economic Development from Goffstown said that you want to be part of this email program. Click yes if you do, click no if you don't. And when they click yes, then then it's not spam anymore. It gets back by their spam filters and everything like that. Then you've sort of subscribed to that, email
Good.
blast. And yeah, it just basically starts with that spreadsheet, and I'll basically run with it from there. It's like sausage. You don't want to see how it's made. I'll take care of it.
And the other thing that we probably should do is we should promote, stuff that's coming up with the gala. Maybe it's not gonna be, that's gonna be gone by the time we get this going. But we have the fireworks date, so we can include that in the article somehow, so that people know,
Absolutely.
come down, I think.
Just so you know, if you can visualize this, I mean, if you've ever gotten kind of a really sort of professional email, there's an article, but there's also lots of sort of boxes, you know what I mean? And like you said on the Goffstown website, there's like the header, you know what I mean? We can send emails that look exactly like that when you get them, and when you open them up in your inbox. So when you say article, yeah, we could have the text in the middle, but we could also have other boxes, and sometimes even dynamic things like fireworks going off inside of one of the boxes. I mean, have you ever gotten an email like that?
Yep.
Where there's kind of cool stuff happening?
Yeah.
That's what that is. That's exactly the kind of stuff we could do. So you could put as much information on there as you want. I mean, you're limited by, the square footage of your, how much is there.
Right.
However, you can put anything you want. You can go crazy.
Now, there's a cost,
Mhm.
there's a startup cost.
Mhm.
How are we gonna go about doing that? I mean, we've got money in our budget that we can use.
Yes.
So it's a matter of, do we have to give them a check, or do we do it over the?
Well, it costs $75,000 a month, and you can make that check out directly to me.
Yeah.
I think it was like $12 a month or something like that. It's $25 a month. It's $25 a month. I can put it on my credit card, and we could settle quarterly or whatever. It's
Yeah,
that easy.
if you do that, then we can settle, we can
Or
settle.
Brian
Whatever you
and
want.
I we can talk to the finance.
Worked out
Yeah,
the
like a town
details,
credit card or
perfect.
something like that, we
Yep.
can do that, whatever.
Perfect.
Whatever works.
Okay, that would be great. So let's start with that. Let's shoot for trying to get something out in July.
Okay.
And run by the information, if you want to run it by myself and Derek. We'll
Sure.
look at it and then throw suggestions back and forth or whatever, and come up with a final draft and send it out. And
Whatever you want.
in the meantime, and we may pick
Yeah,
up
I think those
more
emails, the email addresses become more important as
Yep.
you move towards
as
the
we start
July.
picking up more and more.
Yeah, right.
Because right now, there's only about a third of the directory we have email address, so,
That's okay, because that's what this, everyone has these sheets.
Yep.
You'll have yours, Steve.
I apologize, I was at a meeting next door. I had to-
Understood. There are priorities.
We could use the email we already, the addresses we already have and get started with that.
And add later.
Put something on there that says, hey, if you know anybody else's email address, let us know. Might get 20,
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
20, 25, you never know.
That's good. Okay. Anything else? You're good?
With Constant Contact?
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Charlie, how we doing with TV?
I met with Dick Gagnon after our meeting last week, and also with Dave Suter another day.
Yep.
Explaining to them, trying to see how we could enhance each business's section on the business directory, not just seeing a name and an address in a blank space. And obviously, we're answering some things as we've gone along here already.
Good.
Where we can do a logo and one image. When I spoke with Dick and Dave, they were saying that I would need to talk to you, Derek, about what type of software is there, and working with that provider, if we eventually wanted to have a template in place where we could put 3 photographs and the logo. My only other question is, we can do a logo and one image. Can we put verbiage in there at all, or no?
I can check. I'm gonna sit down with IT tomorrow, so I can check
Because even
the
if it's
verbiage.
1 or 2 bullet statements that they could give us on the phone, if it's a business worked out of their home and they don't want to photograph, a little thumbnail sketch of one or two bullet statement could be very helpful
Yep.
in someone seeking out that type of a business.
Okay.
Well, I think that's what the, that second section gives us, right? It doesn't have to be an image, it can actually be a saying, right?
I'm not positive.
Okay.
Is it either or and? I guess
Well, that's what
my
he's,
question.
that's what he's gonna find
Yeah, if you
out.
can find that out.
The JPEG you're asking for the button, could be anything. JPEG could be a photograph.
Yeah, JPEG could be a photograph, but if it's a text, that could help with some of the search engines as well, rather than just a photo, so.
Sure, why not? Sure.
All right,
So as I sat with Dick and then also with Dave, as we looked at this, it was pretty much a meeting about having a template. And now that we're getting some answers with that, the recommendation from those gentlemen was, if you want to do an educational computer thing on GTV, you're really best to see if you can spruce up some of these businesses within the directory.
Yep.
I think if we did it right now, and it's, I'm not tossing an arrow here,
No.
it's a fact, that if we did a training thing now and people see a business and it's all blank, I don't know about you, but if I saw that, I said, I'm not going to this. There's nothing there to entice me to want to be there. So as this has evolved this evening, my thinking more or less would be, let's go through this, get as much information back, enhance as many businesses as we can within a time frame, and then go back to Dick. He says, we can put you on, Charlie, we can make it work, have the computer screen, telling people how to get to the department in EDC and then the business directory, and then go through some examples so people can see it, and make it enticing and enough as we've enhanced it to the consumer to really drive them to want to go there.
okay.
So-
That sounds like a good
And
plan.
he's willing to work with us when we're ready,
Okay,
so.
that's good. I think that'll give us some exposure and, give some businesses some ideas as to what they can do and getting on the website.
So if we can get a good majority of them upgraded with a logo or verbiage and an image, then I think I'd go back with Dick and then sit with him and set up a session where we could do it, where we have enough of those businesses with that template, so to speak, and for those that aren't doing it, let them know, hey, why don't you enhance yours, we'll do it for you, and let's just make the whole directory better. So maybe a little bit later than sooner in
Yep.
doing that online, but
If we can,
do it.
if we can have, if our, let's, as a goal, if we can get at least 3 businesses that we have, the information that we need, that we can start promoting that way. Cause it doesn't mean we have to have 50 of them. If you have 3, you can just pick out those 3 and say, this is what you can do, within our website. You have any idea, anything else you wanna do, contact us and we can go and we can do some different things.
And it could be another spoke, so to speak. You've got constant contact with that first article, where we can have those links to get information to you. And we could do the same thing on GTV, that, oh, geez, I'm sitting here watching this, how do I go about sending an image, JPEG, and my logo? How do I get it there? And we could literally say that on GTV, so you'd get it from another end. You get it from emails and constant contact, and then we'd also see it on GTV.
Yeah, cause people that wanna know what's going on, they can go to GTV and see the information,
Right.
if they're not quite sure what we're trying to
The
get
one
at.
thing that they brought up, both Dick and Dave mentioned, is you should try to get a pretty good number of them that are already doing it, because if it's a very select few, and then someone goes in and looks, you're gonna get feedback, well, why did you pick their business and not mine?
Right.
They just said, they just said, you need to be
But
aware of that.
it's a beginning aspect, and I think
Exactly.
that's the whole thing, is that this is to show you what can be done. Here are some samples of where we started with, and we want more,
Right.
type of thing.
Here's the potential.
Yeah.
Would you like to join that potential?
Right.
And here's all the links for you to get in and do it. Which sounds good, because originally when I met with these guys and thinking, their question was, who's gonna get the photos? Are you gonna depend on people getting those and the logos to you all the time? And I really, realized that when you stressed at the last meeting, that we have to watch, what's being dumped in your lap, and then also
Right.
what the rest of us do, because we have other lives to lead
Right.
and work. So I'm encouraged, prior to speaking, of what is going on behind the scenes already. So I think it can be a business owner-driven piece that they can get us the stuff.
Yep.
And then set it up that way. And then maybe down the road, have the opportunity with the software company, can we add 1 or 2 images? Another point, as we were talking about this list, I know we were saying we'd want to avoid couponing and all that at all costs, and I agree with that, being a town website. I think if anyone approaches us when we talk to them on the phone for updates, and they say, geez, I'd like to do this, can you do this? Well, if you give me your website address, you can do that on your own, and they can click on the link, and you can have any coupons you want, because it's driven on your site.
Right.
So you may want to play that angle too, if they approach you on that.
Yeah.
Wanting coupons
This way here, we
listed
don't
on-
have to worry about, you know, the discount was only for July, or.
Exactly,
you
that's
know.
their responsibility on their
And then
website.
you get to August and say, I want that 20%.
Right.
You
Right.
know, that might be something worth noting. We should, all right. We should probably all agree that if somebody says something like that, you should make a note of that, and we should keep track of that. Like if somebody says, well, you know, I got this coming up or that coming up, you should make a note of that, and we should follow up on that, because that could be something we could leverage with Constant Contact. Like, if we're gonna be sending out, you know, all right, so if somebody says, Charlie, look, I got this, you know, we're doing 5% off beef all next month, you know, I want people to know about that. You could say, well, we're working on something right now where we're gonna be sending out email blasts to basically everybody in town, you know, all the other business owners. And we're not exactly sure how that's gonna work yet, but we'll let you know. And Charlie, you should make a note of that, and we should keep track of the people who actually want that sort of thing, because we could leverage that. We could leverage our power to communicate to other businesses in town to get stuff from those people. Not because we want stuff, but to sort of get stuff to share, you know what I mean? So if the guys so if we're gonna give them basically free advertising, you know what I mean? We should be able to give some benefit to everybody else, whether it's because with Constant Contact, we might be able to run a banner saying, you know, click on here for at least 5% promotion or something like that.
Right.
And in lieu of that, you know, they could maybe make a donation to something, and that could play a role in some benefit we do someday. You know what I mean? That could play a role in, you know, paying for the fireworks. That could play a role in something. But, you know, to build a community, everybody gives a little bit and everybody takes a little bit, and that's how that's how that starts. You know, through conversations like that. Hey, you know, I want to let everybody know. Well, now we have something that they want too. You know what I mean? So that's where, you know, we could do a little business there too. I mean, if that doesn't sound too, you know,
Yeah, I
canny
mean,
for you folks.
No, but like I said, as long as whatever we do, we stay consistent with what we do and not drop the ball and let it sit and get stale. That's my whole concern about whatever we do. Let's make sure that we don't let it go, that we keep it going, and how we do it. So I mean,
Sure.
to me, that's the important part. And the third part of that is not overburdening Economic Development's office with, we got all this stuff we gotta do type of thing. Yes, it's all gonna help us, but at the same time, we have to be careful on how much we throw that way.
So maybe in the beginning, it's just getting that information and parking it, so to speak.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
For future potential use.
Yep.
I guess my only other concern is, as I look at the website and kinda check out the business directory, and this is just me, you guys tell me, because Derek, you actually work for the town. Are we then crossing a fine line of a municipal website, and then you're advertising for these companies? I mean, I don't know if there's a fine line there,
Well,
what you
if,
do in a business
if,
directory.
if we're not advertising it on there ourselves, we're providing a link, and that link, it's their website, they can do whatever they want with it, so
I think it
mean,
stays cleaner that way,
Yeah,
because if it expires on their website, that's their business.
exactly.
We don't have to worry about expiration dates or values, that's theirs.
Right.
But I think if we can get a link for a lot of different companies, we have one image. The image I'm gonna recommend to a business is a picture of your outside.
Yeah.
People drive by, now they know where it is.
Right.
And then if they wanna have additional ones, like, i.e. Sully's, produce, deli, dairy, all those areas, that's up to them to put it on their website and have that link attached.
Right.
So that's the big piece I'll stress when I'm with them on the phone.
Okay, so as we're going through, then we're gonna build up enough information so we can have that session on GTV then.
Right.
Okay, that'll work. Okay, any other, information that we need to discuss before we have a session here, a non-public session? Yes,
The only other update is following up from last week's meeting. I did sit down with Southern New Hampshire Planning Commission.
oh, okay,
And they're going to be coming up with a proposal for what they could do for some type of economic development plan, and talking to some of the stakeholders and how that could be either phased in, so we could potentially bring that forward and tie that into the target business, analysis.
Services?
Yes,
Okay,
as well as the regional economic development plan, but, tailor something specific to Goffstown. So they're gonna, I sat down with them on Friday,
great,
so.
excellent.
Should have that for the
The
next
only
meeting.
other thing that I just wanna bring up, I forgot, is I did not get to the Metro Center when, the last meeting, I was gonna try to get there. I couldn't get there that day, something came up and I wasn't able to get there, so, but you'll be going.
I'm gonna start going on a
You're gonna
monthly
start
basis.
going on a
yeah.
monthly basis, so that'll help us somewhat, and keep us in the loop as to what's going on. And I think, does anybody have anything else? No? Okay. We're gonna go into a non-public session to discuss, under RSA 91A 3(2)D.
For, consideration of acquisition of property.
Right, right. So I need a motion to enter into non-public.
I'll make a motion to enter a non-public.
Need a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Thanks, Steve.
Excuse me, I need a,
We're gonna do a roll call
Roll call.
next. Yep. So, Charlie?
Charlie Tentis?
Yes? Steve?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Okay.